All right, welcome back to Blue by 90. I'm Justin, joined by Jack and Kaylin today, and it is another. Whoa,
Another.
whoa, yikes! That's a Frank the Tank from Barstool. Another.
That is.
I was going to say another victory Sunday for your boys. It feels good.
Yeah, man. Lions are on. They're winning. Michigan looked good from what I was able to watch yesterday. I'm curious to hear what you guys got on the tailgate in the game.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I put it out there. I believe it's 694 days since Michigan has lost a game in the Big Ten. Which again, it just go. I'm gonna keep reiterating this week after week. Like, please, dear God, people enjoy this stretch. That's a ridiculous stretch. So, I'm all in, and yeah, it feels good. And I think it's like one loss in over 1,000 some days for Michigan football in the Big Ten.
Was it Michigan State 2 years ago?
Yeah, you had to bring that one up, right?
Wanted to be clear. Want to make sure I have my facts straight.
This is just like our routine at this point. Like, oh, it's Sunday. We had a home game. Wake up, do my thing. Like, yeah.
Also, Sparty's beaten down right now. I'm trying to, I'm be a nice guy, give him a little something to
see. Okay,
be happy about.
Let me comment on that real quick. I was thinking about it yesterday. I tend to agree. I was gonna be like, we should lighten up on them. If this was flipped, they'd be the most ruthless fan base of all time. So I'm good on that. I'm good on feeling bad.
Is D'Antonio coaching for them now? Why is he at all the games? What's going on there?
He's like his interim associate head coach who just kind of stands there and looks angry on the sideline as they get their ass beat.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
The scowl is very much still there for him. Like he's just so angry at all times.
Yeah, he's got a resting bitch face for sure.
Never seen an RBF quite like that.
We were leaving the tailgate, and there was like some guy walking down the street, like talking to his friends or something. He's like, "I wonder where Mel Tucker is today." And I was just like, "He's on the phone."
Oh God,
that is when our question for the past few weeks was where was Jim Harbaugh, but a better question is definitely like, where is Mel Tucker watching Michigan State today?
Oh.
Or does he even watch? Because how would you feel knowing you created that mess and they're like, you are making 60,000 people at MSU just like miserable every Saturday?
If I was him, I wouldn't watch. I would be watching every other game.
Yeah, for sure. But speaking of Harbaugh, it was really good to see him back on the sideline. I loved it. The fans loved it. That was awesome. The one thing I saw from him was after the game. I don't know if you saw him leading the Victors after the game in the locker room and like fired up, like, yeah, like that was, I mean, for a somewhat ho-hum victory over Rutgers, like, I don't think we've seen him that fired up for the Victors in a while, which was cool to see.
I'll tell you what, man. When they were showing that clip, I thought that was Jack Harbaugh. Okay. Jim looked a little.
I literally was going to screenshot it and put it out there. He looks identical to Jack Harbaugh. I was like, how much did he age in these last 3 weeks?
It's fucking wild, dude. I saw that and I was like, wait, that's Jim. I'm like, he looks old as shit.
Clip Rose impression of it, and that's a new gift, right?
Don't worry, I've got it written down. I'm actually taking notes.
Perfect. Yeah, it definitely did look like Jack, and I was like, man, he is looking old, but he's still chipper. Like, it's not like he's like, but I mean, you look at Jack too, and he looks old, but he will talk for years and years and at the speed of lightning. So, I love it. The other thing with Jim being back was that Michigan just ran the clock out from the get-go. It was like they were trying to ice the game in the first quarter.
I'd be shocked if I think Michigan's every game this year is going to be 30-something to a single-digit number. Like that, they're just consistent.
The consistency is incredible, really.
It's incredible. I was almost back on the Fire Harbaugh train after that first touchdown, but the team came back. The team
Very
came
rational
back
of
and you know, showed some resilience there. It was
They
great.
know exactly where the line is too from Vegas. So they're like, all right, we're like right there, and everyone stop.
Hey,
had
Rutgers covered.
Yeah, I had a buddy who had I think it was 43 or something, or sorry, they had to get to 44 to get the over. I think it was 44 and a half or something
That's
like
heartbreaking.
that. And one more touchdown would have done it. And I mean, at that point, you're just rooting because you know Michigan's going to win. You're like rooting for Rutgers. You're rooting for anything to happen for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was the one drive. It ended up in the field goal when JG got sacked at the end of it. But it literally took up half of the third quarter. It was like an 8-minute drive, which is so Jim Harbaugh, who just like we're the best team ever at winning in a boring fashion. Name somebody else who can consistently win like this and have quite literally outside of Mikey Sainristil's one play, there's just no sparks flying at all throughout the game, but it gets the job done.
That was electric. Great to see it from Mikey too. So was that a pick six or did the guy catch it and then fumble it? I really couldn't tell.
So I don't know if you saw, I put it out on Twitter and Instagram. It was my view. I just happened to be filming on that play, and I have watched it 10 times back on my own phone and still can't figure out. But I think he intercepted it. Junior Colson jumped on him. He flipped him over his back and then took it to the house. And Kenneth Grant, who's 400 pounds nearly, was just running stride for stride with him as a lead blocker.
Just unbelievable.
Mikey, just dusting off his wide receiver chops. He's definitely the guy on defense with the most scrimmage yards.
Yeah. Oh, that's for sure. Probably in the nation, I would have to imagine, right? There's no Travis Hunter, maybe, but which, by the way, did you see him? Colorado. We'll talk about Colorado in a minute. He was streaming on Twitch during the game.
Was he?
But not streaming the game. He was just streaming him playing video games. I saw.
Interesting.
I don't hate it.
I mean, it's just they were down
anybody else, and you're like, all right, this is a problem. Travis Hunter, I think he can kind of get away with murder if we wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely one of those things where you're just like, what are you gonna do? Bench him? No, he's obviously he's hurt right now, but you're not gonna play that dude. He's so good.
Right.
And then speaking of Mikey, it was great to have those defensive backs back. We had Rod back, we had Will back, Makari Page played the whole game as well. And yeah, I mean they played really well. I thought there were times where Rutgers was just making really good catches, and it was tough, but they played well. Obviously, I think, like I just said, we're playing in a boring fashion kind of these first 4 weeks, but the thing to take away from it is how good our defense has played through 4 games. I mean, Rutgers had played really well the first 3 weeks in terms of their running back was playing well, that quarterback was decent. And then we just shut them down completely.
Yeah. I got nothing else on it, but go ahead, Kalen.
I mean, our defense has to be top 5 scoring defense in the country?
I think number 1.
I think we were number 1 for real.
Number 1.
Yeah. I think Michigan, or at least going into yesterday, I think Michigan was number 1. Ohio State was number 2.
How many total points off the top of our heads have they given up?
I mean, it was what, 7-6, 7.
7.
I forget now.
I don't know.
It has not been. It has not gotten to double digits. I don't believe so.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I know for a fact it's less than 30.
It was 3, 7, 6, 7.
That's wild.
It is wild. And I mean, when you think about it, for Rutgers this week, they scored on the third play of the game, and then I can't remember what it was, but they scored on the third play of the game, and then they only had 200. It was 180 yards the rest of the game, and 50 of that came on the last drive of the game in garbage time. So from the fourth play of the game till before their last drive in a 31-7 game, they scored like, or they gained like 130 yards of total offense. That's pretty impressive.
That's awesome. 1-0 Big Ten play.
Crushing it.
Yeah, I mean, Jesse Minter has those boys rolling for sure, and so that's my biggest takeaway from these first 4 games. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions on the offense and all that stuff. My takeaway, I'm going to choose to stick to the positives, as you guys all know. We're positive vibes only type. You know, me specifically, I'm positive vibes only.
Agreed.
I know Jack is pretty negative usually, but
most of the time.
Yeah, but yeah, this defense is pretty damn good.
What sure. Am I like I mean, you guys know I was working in store yesterday and we had the game on, so I was watching like bits and pieces. I feel like JJ was running a lot. Had a couple read options. He looked fucking great.
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
He had 51 rushing yards.
I like that.
I like that a lot. And the best part is he had 51 rushing yards and really didn't get hit either.
Yeah. Well, dude, there was one run. I don't know which one it was, but I think it was a read option. He ran it to the left, and I think he got like 8 to 10 yards. And there's like 3 guys in front of him. He's like, "Fuck, I got to go out of bounds." And he just stops on a dime and just goes left.
He went straight sideways all the way out of bounds. I was like, what if you just can you just take a knee or something instead of having to run
slide down
yards out of bounds?
Yeah, I don't want you to sprain your ankle, dude. Like, if that was me, I would have torn every ligament in my body.
He had that great, what was it, 4th and 2, like read, and he just pulled it and took off. That was great too. I love that play.
I love that play too, because in normal years, it's like everybody in the world knows that Michigan's just running it up the middle, right? And then but to have that option now, you know, a team's got to account for that. So that takes one more person out of the box, right? That's going to be focused on just JJ instead of having, you know, everybody focused on that. Yeah, I do love that as well. Yeah, I mean, I think through these first 4 games, JJ has used his legs more than ever, really, it feels like, since he's been the starting quarterback for sure.
You think it's because he's fully healthy now? Because last year he was a little banged up?
Probably. I think he's getting really smart about running the ball and pulling it too. He's probably seeing it because, you know, on those RPOs, you see – what he's seeing is that teams are just loading up the box and they're biting on Blake and everything. And even you saw it too on the one play that I love too was Donovan coming across with the like 30 some yard pass that he caught. Mm-hmm. When he comes across, every linebacker is watching Blake up the middle, and then Donovan comes across and he's wide open on the pass out in the flats. So between JJ running and some of those sweeps with Roman and Donovan and stuff, I think they're really utilizing when these linebackers are focused on Blake in the run to create some more opportunities for other guys.
All right. Side note, watching the Lions right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how Brian Branch doesn't win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
He's
Holy
really
shit. He is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah. He's very good.
But to go back to Michigan, thoughts on Dono, dude? I feel like he just hasn't really been able to break one off in the run game. I know Kalen and I were chatting about it yesterday. Kalen, you said it looked like he looked pretty good receiving the ball, but
he had some good receptions, I thought. Yeah.
How was the run? Did he have any good runs yesterday? Was he able to break through anything?
Not really. He only had 6 carries.
Yeah,
which that I guess that would be my take on it is Michigan had 7 possessions all day long, and he only gets 6 carries in 7 possessions. You know, so my take on it is that it's really difficult to get in a rhythm and like see what's unfolding at the line to like either cut or hit a hole or something when you're not even getting those touches. You know, when Blake's at 21 carries and Dono's at 6, you know, I don't know. I would have expected, I guess, going into the season, it'd be more like, you know, 15 and 10 or something like that, or, you know, closer together there than it is at how spread it's been for Blake versus Dono.
Yeah, I thought Blake was reminding me more of the Blake of old. He feels like he's getting in his rhythm. He's got his ability to juke. He's getting a little bit more burst, right? So like, I love seeing that. But having that 1-2 punch with Blake and Dono, that's, you know, once that comes into play, like this offense is gonna be unstoppable.
I mean, Blake is just so fucking good.
Right.
He's really good. I like, to your point, Kalen. He sees the whole missed field goal
for the Falcons. Yeah,
nice. He sees his vision has gotten just ridiculous. There were a couple times where yesterday he gets the handoff and there's no hole, but the jump cut before he even gets to the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden he is jump cutting 3 yards and he's in the hole. And I'm like, damn, that is incredible. So I do think that's where like Donovan I don't think he quite has that yet. And so I think Blake is really, really good at that, and it helps him because this offensive line, I think, let's be honest, they're just not as good as the last 2 years, which they still can be very good and not as good as the best line in the nation the last 2 years. You know what I mean? So they're coming into their own, I think, game after game, but I do think Blake's going to have to probably do more this year on his own. Is that a fair assessment?
I think that's fair, and especially because like it's a new unit. I mean, the only people that are really returning as starters are Zinter and Keegs. Carson Barnhart, he's been on the team, right? Like, but still never was really with the starters unless I missed something last year completely. And also, like you said, I think they're still really fucking good, but like
you did.
It's okay if you're not as good as the last 2 years because they were the best offensive line in the country the last 2 years. Yeah. But I think they'll get better as the year goes on.
Yeah, I think they already are actually really improving, right? From week 1 to what they are now. Like, they definitely communicate better. And like, I know there were some looks the defense was giving last week that seemed to really throw them off. And then they did the same thing, Rutgers on defense, and then they picked it up. So they're obviously like improving week to week. And one weird thing to me is that they're still like shuffling pieces, right?
Yeah.
Like I saw Miles Hinton was in. I think he maybe missed a block somewhere. They took him out.
Darius Henderson went in.
Yeah. So like they're still kind of tinkering, it feels like. And for me, I'm like, all right, we're going into week 5 here. Like, let's set our line, you know?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But I would also rather, you know, if guys aren't performing, you know, take care of it now or try it out now, rather than, you know, week 10, I guess. But
true.
you know, so I don't know. I see it both ways for sure. I agree with you. Like there's something to just like picking something and going with it, but there's also like, you know, all right, this is not working. Let's just, you know, we got good guys on the line, so we'll try whoever, you know what I mean? So I could see that. One other thing I wanted to touch on too was in the past 3 games, and I'm going off of feel because I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I felt like it was
not a big stats podcast here.
No, why would we? I mean, that's for Brian and Tanner. So go listen to Blue by the Numbers if you want the PFF grades and stats and all that stuff. But I think it was more even in pass plays and run plays for the first 3 weeks. And then I think this is Jim Harbaugh's effect on the game. And it was like only 21 passes and let's see, 28 plus 6 is 34, 38 runs. So like 38 rushes versus 21 passes. That's a very run heavy game, I would say.
In terms of production, though, what did it come down to for production?
Right.
For production?
Yeah. Right. Like how many passing yards, how many rushing yards total?
Let's see. We had 200 rushing yards and 214 pass yards. So still more in the pass game.
Yeah.
I think that's Michigan's recipe for success, man. Also, Samaj Morgan. Attended a Blue by 90 tailgate last year, you know, Blue by 90 participant.
He did. As a senior in high school, he showed up to the game before as a recruit.
Yeah, hooked him up with a little Diet Coke, you know, a little caffeine in the system. But that was a pretty sick play.
That was I loved JJ seeing that going back shoulder to him, and then the adjustment he's just a little guy, man.
Yeah,
he's a little guy.
He's a little dude.
Yeah,
but great play.
Awesome.
That was a great play. He tried to do the same thing to Barner one time, and then the guy was just completely face guarding him, and like Barner couldn't even like get around the guy at all. Also, Roman Wilson, I think we have to go to him 15 times a game. He's open all the time, and he's just so fast. We've said this every week, I think, but I truly believe he's like unguardable.
I want to see him on some jet sweeps, man.
I don't disagree. I mean,
like that.
Just getting the ball in his hands is incredible. Well, I know he's our best weapon, it seems by far, but can we get him on punt return or something too? Because like I watched Ohio State last night and Egbuka was their punt returner, you know, and they obviously have more depth than us at the wide receiver position, but like, you know, I just feel like I know we might be scared since the Ronnie thing happened, but it feels like, you know, we need somebody in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who's taking punts right now?
Well, it's like Jake Thaw and Tyler Morris going back and forth, and neither of them just. I like both of them. I think that they're both really good athletes and can have some, but neither of them look really like super comfortable back there.
Yeah, I think Roman would be nasty.
Didn't Timo have a good return last week?
Yeah, he did. Or something? Yeah, he did.
But he's young.
Yesterday, he didn't look. Nothing was really going in that. Which at this point, it's just like, okay, just fair catch it every time. You know. So I don't know. Let's see what else we got. I thought Junior Colson was flying all over the place yesterday. He looked really good. What was his stat line for tackles?
What do you have? 6 tackles or something like that?
Yeah, 6 tackles. Yeah. Man, it just felt like that defense was like they were meeting them behind the line of scrimmage a lot.
They were getting some push.
Which was awesome to see. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I liked it. And then let's talk about Ohio State Notre Dame. Could you hear that?
Someone's got
I saw him moving around.
Yeah, my cat's got she wants to get on the mic.
What's up, kitty?
But first of all, unbelievable football game. Like that lived up to the hype of a top 10 matchup at night on primetime TV. Which was awesome, even though it's like, you know, as a Michigan fan, it's a question of can they both lose, right?
I know.
But I don't know about you guys. I would love to do a poll of Michigan fans out there. I was rooting for ND. I hate Ohio State 100 times more, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Glad we're on the same page there. And Ohio State just I still don't think they're that good. Like they did not play a perfect game last night at all. I mean, there were times where it was like McCord had a few really good throws. I thought their defense was really good. They were stopping Notre Dame, but I don't think they're an unbelievable, like untouchable type team at all.
No, I mean, I think McCord is like the piece that's holding them back because, like you said, their wide receiver room is like probably one of the best in the country. Travion Henderson is a good running back. Their defense is good. And Kyle McCord just, I don't even know who to compare him to. Like he's just meh.
Yeah, I think that he's definitely not polished. He's not CJ Stroud. He's not, any of the last like 3-4 quarterbacks that they've had. So I'm watching that as a Michigan fan. Like we can beat them. I think I'm not going to say handily because you just never know with that team. And it's also 8 weeks away. So a lot can happen, but like that is, I think Michigan could possibly be favored going into that game this year.
Oh,
so we'll see.
Absolutely. And they should be after the last 2 years. If I had to predict the score right now, I'd say 31-7.
Smart. Where'd you come up with that number? That's crazy.
It just felt right.
And then we got to talk about Ryan Day as well.
What a fucking loser.
What a loser. Like, bro, I saw a lot of people like, are you really tough if you have to try and tell people that you're tough?
Yeah.
You know?
He's just, dude. Do you think he calls out Jack Harbaugh?
That
would be amazing.
That would be amazing, actually. And then like him and Jack Harbaugh do like a back and forth. That'd be incredible.
I think Jack Harbaugh would kick his ass.
When we beat them, too. Jim should just be like, "How dare Ryan Day Sr. say anything?"
I don't think that was such an unhinged interview, and I like went back and watched what Lou Holtz said, and it was like not that bad. It's like, okay, yeah, Lou Holtz is a Notre Dame homer, no shit. Like
right.
What he's really just like doing it for the fans at Notre Dame because he is an all-time coach there. Like for Ryan Day to like I mean, he's like Lou Holtz is a commentator at this point. It's not like Marcus Freeman said it and had the disrespect. Like, that's just so soft to me to be paying attention to that stuff and have to like feel the need to comment on that after the game. It's crazy.
Yeah, that shouldn't be your first thought after that game. Is going after an 100-year-old man that's looked like he's been on his deathbed for about 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, people were helping him walk, for God's sakes. Like, I mean, that's the guy you're going to go after. He's 86.
That's a great point. That was literally right at the end of the game, and that was what popped in your head.
It was the first thing that popped in his head, and then the one bad half comment as well. Did you see that part? Like,
no, so what did he say?
He said we had one bad half in Ann Arbor a few years ago, and like everyone's formed their opinion on these guys or something to that effect. And it was like, first of all, you had two bad halves because Donovan Edwards himself had like 170 yards against you in the second half last year, and you scored 3 points. And he followed up on it that he was talking about 2021 bad half, and I'm just sitting there like, bro, you are I don't know, man. Well,
talk about living in his head rent free.
Literally, yeah, it's crazy to like those two comments. You go and you win a big football game at Notre Dame in a hostile environment. That's a good win.
Prime time.
And the first two things you think about are Lou Holtz and Michigan and Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
like that is wild. So
it's a full-time thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was it was interesting to say the least. But that is going to be bulletin board material and meme material for the rest of the year.
For a long time.
Yeah.
What do you got on the Oregon Colorado game? Did you guys get to watch that at all?
I did a little bit. And I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, but after that TCU game, I said this was going to happen at some point where I just didn't think they were that good still. And they went up against a really, I mean, Oregon's really good for sure.
Really good team, yeah.
I mean, and I don't hate on Dion for that, but they're just not to the point where they can play with big boys yet. They don't have the depth. They don't have the size. They don't have the O-line or D-line. Like, they've got some studs, but they're just not there. And it's, I mean, you can't do that after a 1-11 year, like in week 4. It's never going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, still, tremendous turnaround. They could lose every game for the rest of the year, and they still were better than last year. I think they'll probably be a 7-5, 8-4 team.
I mean, well, the thing is, if you go look at I think they'll probably be like 6-6, 7-5. If you go look, they have a tough schedule the next 2 games. I believe it's at USC, and then I can't remember.
Or they get USC at Colorado, or like at home for them.
I can't remember which where that one was at.
Washington, they'll get killed.
Washington.
Yep. There are some winnable games though. Arizona State's not great.
Yeah.
There are a couple teams that they can for sure still beat.
Yeah.
So we'll see how
you got to give them credit where it's due, right? People thought that they would have 3 wins in total for the year, right?
And I mean, they've already tripled their win total from last year.
Yeah.
Right. I think the really entertaining part of that game for me as a Michigan fan was watching Oregon run like plays where I'm like, oh, I want to see us do that. I want to do like triple option, like crazy stuff. And then, I mean, Oregon was just blowing up the Colorado line. They literally couldn't do anything.
How about Dan Lanning's pregame speech? Did you see that too, where he basically called out Colorado?
I didn't know if that was a pregame speech or a halftime speech.
I think I don't know
Pre-game,
either. I guess I think it was pregame though.
But it was wild, yeah.
He's like, this game isn't played in Hollywood. We're going for clicks, or they're going for clicks. We're going for wins.
Yeah.
I kind of
people
love that.
coming after him for that. I'm like, you got to hype up your team. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like Colorado started it by the guy, like their coach was calling out Lanning. Like, I mean, here's the reality: if you're Dion and his staff and those players, like, if you are going to talk all that talk and get all that hype, then when it goes poorly, you're going to have to eat some of those words. That's just the reality of the situation, so that's just where we're at. But yeah, and then let's continue around the league here. Let's see what who we got next. Florida State Clemson. That was a heartbreaker for my Clemson Tigers. Tough one. They missed a field goal with like 2 minutes left, 29-yarder. But did you know that kicker literally was not on their team last week? He was the starting kicker last year, was still like finishing up his MBA, but was like working in Charleston at like a financial job. And then Dabo's son called him up and was like, hey, our kicker is not very good. We need you. He came back and kicked for him this week.
Holy shit.
And then unfortunately he goes and misses. And Dabo had said it before the game, or like in the press conference this past week. He's like, it's either going to be really good or it's going to be a disaster. And then he goes and misses the field goal. So feel bad for that kid.
Kalen, you're right. I'm watching the Lions game right now. Big noon Saturday is USC at Colorado next weekend.
USC, Colorado. I'll watch it.
Yeah. Oh, I'll watch it. Yeah.
That's the one thing that Dion has done is even if they're bad, everyone's got to tune in.
Oh, yeah.
It's must-see TV for sure. It's must-see TV. Bama beat Ole Miss 24-10. They looked like they were going to lose that game for 3/4 of it.
That's what I thought, yeah.
They are not the Bama of old, man. I don't know if it's just the quarterback situation or more than that, but like they're nowhere near what they were a few years back.
Yeah, they're just not dominating like they used to. Still very good.
Polished.
Just not dominating like they were.
And then Illinois FAU, they only beat them by a touchdown, less than a touchdown. That Illinois team is bad. Like really.
Do we play Illinois this year?
I don't believe we do.
Damn.
I don't think they're on the schedule. And then Nebraska 28-14 over Louisiana Tech. They scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to win that game. That's who we play next this week. So I think they're a bad team as well. I mean, that's a requirement for playing in the Big Ten West is you have to just be a bad football.
You just have to be bad at football.
Yeah.
Can we also talk Utah over UCLA? That's now Utah's 4 straight wins without their starting QB.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that was Dante Moore at QB for UCLA, who took a sack on the last play of the game, I believe, to lose that one. So I'm just glad he's getting that NIL money at UCLA, though. Everybody.
What about Penn State, Iowa? Anybody watch that game?
Iowa's the worst team in America. I think that offense is comically bad.
Oh man, they lost. They got shut out, right? Was it 38-0 or 31-0?
I think 31-0.
Oof.
I think that
I think that the Penn State defense in the fourth quarter or in the second half had. Or no, wait, not the defense. The Penn State backups in the fourth quarter had more offense than the Iowa starters the whole game.
Oh my God, that is brutal.
Yikes!
Tough look for Cade McNamara, who has said a lot of things this offseason, including something to the effect of like, watch out for this offense. Everyone's sleeping on this offense. Like, yeah. I am just fucking still sleeping, buddy. Still sleeping.
Oh, man.
And then, dude, MSU is the biggest train wreck out there right now.
What was the score yesterday?
31-9, and MSU scored in garbage time pretty much. They went through 3 quarterbacks, had to bench Noah Kim, then benched what's his name, the Caden Hauser. I don't know, man. It's just I don't know, man. There's
a train wreck out there.
It's an absolute train wreck. They are a truly terrible football team, and I called one of my Sparty buddies yesterday. I was looking up their schedule. I'm like, who are they going to beat? If you go through their schedule, like, I really don't know that they're going to win another game.
That's tough.
They've got.
Have they won? What are they? 1-3 right now, or 2-2?
They're 2-2, and they've got next week at Iowa. So I mean,
maybe.
But I still think that if there's one team that Iowa can score on, it's that Michigan State defense. Yeah. And then at Rutgers, who I think Rutgers will kill pretty solid.
Yeah, Rutgers will kill them.
Then us. Then at Minnesota, home versus Nebraska, at Ohio State, at Indiana, Penn State. So there's like 2 wins max in the rest of that schedule.
That's tough.
Which, speaking of Minnesota, like, bro, what happened to PJ Fleck? They lost 37-34 in OT yesterday to Northwestern, who had their coach fired a week before the season started and were already going to be very bad even before that. Fleck was like a god 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Ooh, I don't know, man. That's like embarrassing. And Michigan, that was theoretically supposed to be one of Michigan's tougher games this year because they go to Minnesota. So now, like, Michigan's schedule outside of Penn State, Ohio State is like
looking pretty good.
Should be pretty easily handled for sure.
Yeah, I hope so.
Indiana, that game at home is going to be very lame. Indiana had to go to 4 overtimes to beat Akron yesterday. And 4 overtimes, and you still only scored 29 points. In college overtime rules, that's so hard to do.
That's tough.
Defensive slugfest.
With Akron. Oh, my God.
Beauty.
I will say the betting model is coming along very nicely.
Ooh, yeah. Did your parlay hit yesterday?
Parlay did not hit. The one team we needed was Oregon State, and they ended up losing to Washington State. But otherwise, I went 12 for 14.
Wow.
That's unreal.
That is unreal.
So
share the wealth, buddy.
We're doing well. Check the Twitter pics.
I need to give at Mays Coach K a follow out there, and he'll give you free winning bets.
I need that.
Sure. Let's touch on the tailgate. It was off to a rough start when we got things unpacked, started setting it up, pressed power on the TV, and it was just a completely shattered screen.
Oh. Oh no.
It was a real tough scene there. When I'm just like click, and then I just see it. I'm like, I was in shock. So yeah,
that's tough.
We're in a tough spot. We then tried to Instacart 2 TVs there, and they both canceled on us after like an hour of trying to deliver in Ann Arbor.
Like, I'm not fucking coming down there.
Yeah. So that was a tough situation. But we'll be back, and you know, we'll minor setback for a major comeback on the TV side.
Food looked good.
Food was, shout out to the ladies of BB90 again, just absolutely crushing it. Breakfast was a hit. Pancakes, Kaylin brought bagels. We had like egg bake. We had sausage, fruit.
Suit on the grill. I saw it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So much fucking FOMO, dude.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That food might have been the highlight, honestly. And I'm not gonna. What as I say this, and this for sure means we're gonna get a bad weather game in like October or something. But the weather has been unreal. Like it was so perfect, like 73 and sunny yesterday, not too hot at all. Like Tanner was sitting there after the game. He's like, I need like a 55-degree game, man. I need some hoodie weather. I'm like, are you complaining about 70 and sunny right now? Are you shitting me?
Fucking Tanner.
He's like, I'm sweating out here. I'm like, dude, what do you want? Like, this is ridiculously nice out. Don't hate on the 70 and sunny because we're not gonna have it for
no. Gotta enjoy it. No complaints.
Yeah. So no, a shout out Hale IPA and North Peak Brewing, of course. We had a good showing there. Thanks to well, who else needs a shout out? We
Pretzel Bell
for sure.
Last night had a great time.
Yeah. Last night we left the liquor.
They played some last night when we were there. Morgy Wally, yeah, dude.
Morgy Wally. Shout out El Dentista for coming by. He had the outfit was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Go. What is he at a smile fixer on Twitter?
I think so.
He had Maze pants on, right? Was it? And then a all over print of Harbaugh face, and then one of those giant hats that had Trente waving the flag on the front.
Oh yeah,
like just it was ridiculous for an outfit.
That dude is one of a kind.
One of a kind for sure. Well, we love him. Came over, did a shot ski.
Oh, he's the best.
That's the tradition at this point. Kaylin, shout out your friend as well. Your buddy that comes by and just drinks all the beer. And I'm pretty sure he's homeless, but he's now Kaylin's best friend.
Oh no, yeah. Kaylin.
Apparently I look like Tiger Woods.
Oh yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, I don't know.
With the Nike hat, I can see it a little bit. That's really the only thing that you look alike as is just wearing a Nike hat. So
I also look like take your pick. Just like name a celebrity, and that's about as close as me and Tiger Woods.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, sure. George Clooney.
You look a lot like Shaq, I'd say.
I could see some Brad
about
Pitt
the same height
as well. Well, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio.
All blended in one.
Yeah, that's funny. No, we had a good showing. It was fun. The big house once again absolutely packed. It
sounded loud on TV.
It was super loud for a noon Rutgers game. Like noon Rutgers game against in a 31-7 boring game wouldn't have in past years would not have had like a great showing and people would be just chilling. But like this year is different and it makes me so excited for that Ohio State game. I'm just sad that we don't like have a good home matchup until then. You know, like if we would have at least like 2, but like Indiana's going to be bad. Nebraska, well, we're at Nebraska, but we just don't have any good home games. It's tough. So, I'm trying to look at it. Purdue is really bad. I'll say that. They played Friday night. They're not good.
Boiler down.
Indiana and Purdue. That's all we got left at home till Ohio State. That's crazy. Tanner's been making me very depressed because he keeps being like, we only have X many home games left. I'm just like, can we just enjoy it while it's happening, or do we have to?
We might have to
quit being negative.
Tailgate on the road up to MSU.
I'm looking into it, thinking about it. So if you're possibly coming up there, just hit us in a Twitter DM or something like that. So. Oh, you know who else came to the tailgate?
Swanky. I know.
Swanky came through. He said he was really mad at you.
I was chatting with him on Thursday. And before, like, I found out Friday that I had to end up going in the store. And I was like, yeah, dude, like, I'll be there, like, yada, yada, yada. He's like, all right, like, if you're not there, Goff just threw a pick. He's like, if you're not there, I'm going to be pretty upset. I'm like, don't worry, man, I'll be there. And then, like, I got the news, and I was like, fuck. Still haven't met Swanky in person. Kills me, dude.
Well, he is a fictional character though, so he was like
Correct.
there, but like it's just like a hologram.
Correct.
Of his Twitter avatar. So
amazing.
It's like the Tupac holograms that happen at his concerts now. I love Swanky. He's a good dude.
Man.
Very good dude.
A good dude.
All right. Well, we'll be back later this week for a Nebraska, the Bussin' Bowl. Big
Bussin' Bowl, baby.
Big game for the Bussin' Bowl.
Game.
Trophy game. That's right. Taylor Lewan versus Will Compton. So that'll be fun. I think Tanner's making the trip down as well. He's going to do some content with a Nebraska pod down there. Some of his buddies are doing Nebraska pod through ESPN. So that'll be cool. We might have to FaceTime in or something. I have a fall wedding this upcoming week.
Hey, at least it's an away game.
They're Michigan grads, so they picked an away game, which is nice. And then is our game? Our game's at noon, I think, right?
Is it?
So 3:30. 3:30.
Oh, nice.
So we should be okay.
Right.
We should be okay there, at least to watch on the phone, figure it out. But yeah, we'll have some more content out for you. Like I said, it's just nice to have another victory Sunday. Ho home,
It's the best.
694 days in a row. We'll take it. So
I like that countdown or count up or
count up.
Well, it's going to be 700 on the dot, I believe, next week. So I'm just going to keep doing that until it doesn't happen, which maybe never.
Maybe never.
Will Michigan ever lose again? I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. For us, you can follow us at Blue by 90 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Blue by 90 Podcast on YouTube and blueby90.com. We appreciate you. Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Go get Hail IPA.
Hail.
Hail.